fans, welcome back everyone, welcome back to the semifinals of the SEL, the StarCraft Evolution League Doubles number 2. We are here, we are back. And we had some intense quarterfinal matches, but now we're here with the top 4 with the semifinals. Let's go. We just covered ByuN and Solar take down Cygnus and Minizerg in their respective match. Likewise, Classic and Gabe took down Uwu, Thermal, and Diego. And now they're facing off against each other in a best of 5 semis. Let's go. Let us go. Game 1 is going to be on Yellow Jacket. Now, coming into this, I do lean towards ByuN and Solar just because of their experience in StarCraft Evolution and in 2v2s, but at the same time, hey, Gabe was looking impressive, right? Gabe was looking very, very impressive. He was not the weaker link when it comes to that 2v2 partnership between him and Classic, so they can hold their own, and I'm hoping for a back and forth here. I'm hoping for a series. Let's see. Show us what you got. Show us what you got here. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Yellow Jacket, we have the Brood War Terran player. We have the SC2 Protoss. It is Classic and HeRoMaRinE. Going CC first. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the Brood War Terran. We have the SC2 Zerg. It is Solar and ByuN. Here we go. As we are going to be opening up and going to be settling in. Now, once again, I'm curious to see how ByuN does open up specifically. At this point, I feel like we've seen a bit of a trend for Gabe, and there's a very high chance he plays mech every single game, going into Vulture tank. Meanwhile, we'll see how ByuN will approach this here. ByuN has been very fond of these 3-rack stim timings. We are going to be opening up CC first on both sides. We're going to be opening up Hatch Gas Pool from the side of Solar as well, but we'll keep an eye on the follow-up here. Welcome to Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jacket does have a shared main base, a shared natural as well. Our initial 2-base setup here is very secure, but it's the third bases which are much more exposed. We have the center third option, we have the northern third option, or we have the southern third option instead. More importantly, we're going to be more isolated, and the bases themselves are a little bit more awkward to rotate between defensively, so it can be a little bit harder for your teammate, for your partner to help defend as well, especially if you're lacking map vision and map awareness. We saw that previously where Euthermal was having a hard time. He was having a hard time defending. Kelzer had a hard time supporting him and rotating and keeping up. And Euthermal was losing base after base after base here on said south side. For now, no surprises here. As you mentioned, 3-rack stim timing. So ByuN is playing into bio. He is going for his mass raxes into stim, into a bio aggressive setup here. Meanwhile, last time we saw this, we did have eyes on Solar going for a Link Bane Bust alongside the stim timing. So we'll keep an eye on Solar to see if he joins. See if he does go for an all-in. Meanwhile, back at home, we're just getting to our standard openers here. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. Racks in the factory. Classic, pointing out, of course, the 3-rack stim timing, which, again, is the standard, is the norm for ByuN. Is the norm. But I don't know if Gabe is aware of the norms, right? Like, I don't know if he's again, I don't think he's necessarily as well versed in SC Evo as to the meta or as to expectations. Academy is on the way for stim, for the upgrades. Yeah, Classic, he's here to hold his hand, Pappy. True. Together, Pappy, together. As here come the factories, here come the vultures. So building up our vulture tech. Likewise, Classic building up into Twilight Council in a blink. We'll see how many gateways. 2, 3, or 4 Gate Blink Stalkers out of Classic. We'll keep an eye on him. Because it's more difficult to be aggressive here in 2v2s early on, I would imagine that Classic will stay on a bit of a lower gateway count, maybe like a safe 3-gate opener into a third. We'll see if he delays the robo. As here comes ByuN's move out. We're going to catch any stray units. Overlord is going to get caught. Nice catch here for our yellow team. Here comes Iron Thrusters. Interestingly, we're going Iron Thrusters first instead of Spider Mines. Iron Thrusters is, of course, a Vulture speed. And we are going for Link Flood. We're going to be rallying Lings across the map. We're still joining, so we're not all in. There's no Bane Bust. But Ling's going to be supporting, and here comes that stim timing. Medics have arrived. Stim is still on the horizon here, so it's a bit of a ByuN push, a ByuN move out, pushing our pre-upgrade. And the upgrade will finish as the aggression is unfolding. Vultures are cat back to the mineral line. Again, no spider mines. True. Yeah, no spider mines, and the first vulture gets surrounded. Yeah, the boys are being pulled. Boys are being pulled. SCVs are going to be going down, losing only just one SCV so far, though. Oh my god, only one. Yeah, they won. There we go. Second SCV kill. Very clean defense here from Gabe and Classic. They chase down the Marines, chase down the medics, and with that they hold. And Stim finishes after the fight ends. Stim just finished after everything was already cleaned up. So this is where the ByuN timing works against ByuN. Where again, it's not uncommon to see ByuN go for these pushes where the goal for ByuN is to hit earlier than normal and to let Stim kick in mid-fight. Well, it skipped in by the time the fight ended. So rough anti-timing there for ByuN, and with that, Classic and Gabe, they hold. They hold nicely. Now it's time to counterattack. Vultures have arrived. Spider Mines are still on the way. Scan does confirm the mech. Oof. Running into the Marines. Yeah, rough movement here from Gabe. Bleeds out some Vultures. Has to pull back. Behind this, we're joining. Saturating layers on the way. We're building up in towards a longer game. Meanwhile, I was curious as to the gateway count, and it is 3 gate. As we assumed, 3 gate blink. 3 gate blink in towards a third. So a relatively safe play here from Classic. And behind this, going into Charge and the Temple Archives into Storm. Okay, not Colossus, but building up into Storm, a little bit more of a versatile army. As Classic is being active as well. Looking to move out. Spider Mines are done. Ideally, we would see Gabe set up minefields out on the map, but we have yet to see that occur. He's yet to be too active. As tanks still learning how to siege. Setting up his academy. Likewise, bio tank out of ByuN. So committed to his Marines. And when it comes to Solo's composition of choice is taking up in towards Roaches, a much later Roach one into later Roach speed, but he has been quite greedy. And now again, getting into Roaches, we do have Overlord speed on the way. That'll be for Drop Lord play to harass to come to some of these bases. I'm loving this Soul Gateway here for Classic. It's just a warping point. So if there's ever like a drop into the mineral line, or like whether it's a bio drop or a Zerg drop, we just defensively warp in. That's really cute. Like I don't think I've seen many players do this in 2v2. I like it. It's like, yo, I got you, papi. I got you. Classic has got his boy. Behind this, working towards Nidus Worms. Okay, Nidus on the way. Minefields have been set up. More scouting more than anything. As it's set up here outside of the main base of Gabe. They confirm the Roach play. Gabe, he's on his own out here. He's going to be careful. So far, the tanks, they hold their own. Oh, Jesus. Link Marmors are shut down. The Spider Mines, they pop up. Oh. Yes, tank shots will be going up here. Roaches, they do catch one of the tanks. Not bad. They do catch one. As again, so far, we're just fighting for map control. We have Swarm Hosts on the way. Okay, interesting. That's going to be, what, 10? It's going to be 12 Swarm Hosts for Solar. Nidus Swarms on the south side. Going for Swarm Host harass here on Classic spaces. And the map is slowly being cut in half. Taking these slower approaches. Likewise, we do see the ByuN is also switching to mech. Switching either bio into mech, but it's going to be a slower transition for ByuN. Nidus Worm does finish. Focus wave into the mineral line. And how much damage do we get? Nice storm! Yeah, very... Oh my god. Insane storms! With that, 2 probe kills. 2 probe kills. That does cost us 3 storms. And that is a resource. I template them off into the Archon. Classic wants to commit in. The Locust Wave is on cooldown, true. So Solar, he has minimal units. He has minimal units here to work with. Oh. That's from behind this. Storm of the Roaches. Do you see Solar trying to counterattack? Oh. Let's move in, catching a tank. Catching on more vultures as well. And we're just poking in on the fringe edges here. Yeah, just poking in. Meanwhile, another Locust Wave takes down the expansion. Nexus does fall. Nice pick up. Takes down the Nexus, forces the recall. The Gaby's on his own out here. Does pull back. And Soul's done a great job here just harassing. Just a great job here just distracting the main armies, forcing them both back. Going for the run-bys, the counterattacks, the Nidus Worms. And this is giving ByuN time to build up his army. Remember, ByuN had a later transition into mech, so ByuN needed more time. Oof. And ByuN is getting there. He's building up that mech army. Solar just gets spotted. Another Locust Wave here on the right-hand side. Oof. Another Locust Wave. Minimal losses, but again, does distract Gabe. Does distract. Ooh. Soul and ByuN getting onto the high ground. Yeah, they're moving up. Shows the storms. Storms are mainly zone. Better storm here on the vultures. Oof. Oh my god. We just go back through the storms. Oh my god, with the tank fire. And tank shots a punish classic. Gabe, he's racing over. We'll just turn back around. Tanks are being cleaned up. And Gabe, he is forcing a reaction here. He's trying to force a reaction. Soul looks like he does turn back around. SEL over into the main. Once again, distracting Solar. So nice moves here by Classic and Gabe. They're getting distracting, alleviating pressure. Trying to force them back. Another Locust Wave. Once again, Solar moving in. Oh, but Gabe, he does get into the mineral line. Okay. We're finding damage. A little bit. Just a little bit. Catching out a couple of workers. Immortal drop into the main. Again, I feel like both Solar and ByuN, they want to be active. They want to be out on the map, but they just can't. They want to push, Pappy. Here comes Solar. Rotates on the right-hand side. Meanwhile, the main base did full massive pickoff. I believe that was the Hive. Yeah, Solar, he will lose the Hive. Ay, ay, ay. No more spellcasters, no Vipers. And no spellcasters. Hydras, they're pushing through on the right-hand side, though. Okay, racing on over to defend. ByuN moving in. And Gabe's in trouble. Yeah, Gabe's in trouble here. He will lose the expansion. The Storms, they come to help support. Mainly zoning. And mainly zoning, the base is going to fall at the same time. Oh, the Nidus Storms, they just keep popping up. These Locust Waves have been brutal. And probes are going down. 20 SCV kills, and we're getting up to 11 probe kills as well. Robers are depowered. Interesting icon. I guess that's new to StarCraft Evolution, but does signify when something is depowered. Interesting. And Solar and ByuN, they've done it. At this point, they've done it. The game is torn apart. So is Classic. Bases are going down. And again, Solar was doing so well here when it came to just distracting. As I mentioned previously, it was ByuN that was just turtling up. Like, ByuN was just building up his forces the entire time, and Solar was so active, so aggressive. Non-stop Nidus Worms, run-bys, counterattacks. Allowing for ByuN to get away with this, to build up this death wall of an army. Allowing him to build up. I just say catch out more tanks. Take down another expansion. And without Solar and ByuN, they have done it. At this point, they have done it. They're breaking Gabe. They're breaking Classic. Catching Immortals. Catching at the intended rotation. Oh my god. And again, they barely have anything left. Barely anything left here. Immortals are going down. Gabe trying to hold his own, as now we have built up into lurkers. ByuN is moving in, and ByuN cannot be stopped. What is it to defend here? We have 2 Immortals, a couple of Storms. Nexus will be falling. Gabe took top left, and he has some mining going on at least. On Paquita. Oof. Nice time with the Templar. We'll take a storm to the face. Another nice into the main. The Night Storms, they just keep coming back. They keep going. Oof. Yeah, sniping more Templar. Getting 2 more. 2 more. 3 in total. And again, it's just been the slow, methodical approach here, knocking down base after base, slowly gaining more ground, and eventually pushing into the production. We're almost there. We're almost on top of the production back. As again, ByuN has the high ground, cleans up all the tanks, wedging himself further in. Yeah, so here come the reinforcements. That's a lot of tanks. that's a lot of tanks for ByuN. Oof. Yeah, catching at the army. Hydra's a hit to the last mining base here for Gabe. And GG gets called. Gabe taps out, and Classic not too far behind him. Yeah, lurkers are in the main. GG gets called, and ByuN and Solar, they take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. They take a lead in the series. Again, coming into this, we did see that initially Classic and Gabe, they were holding their own. They defended very well against the early 3-rack stim timing, if you recall. It was a better start for Classic and Gabe, but as we try to emphasize, it was Solar. Solar with the Night Swarms, with the Swarm Host, with the Roach Rumbys and counterattacks as well. Solar, he was just all over the map, and he was keeping both Classic and Gabe busy. Keeping them busy, dealing damage, allowing for ByuN to build up his forces to deal with the defense as well. Of course, like he had a less mobile army, but he was just setting up his siege lines, defending back at home while Solar was being hyper aggressive, and it worked out. Worked out very nicely. They recovered, they bounced back, and they snowballed out of control. GG, well played. We did see that Classic and Gabe, they were just unable to break through that defensive line. After taking all these losses, they tried to push out on the south side, but they just weren't able to break through the tank lines, weren't able to break through the main armies, and GG, well played. With that, going to be loading into game 2, going to be loading into new Bed of Chaos for the first time tonight. Let's go. We are loading in. And we'll see how our players will adjust their approach. Now, something that was brought up earlier was the idea of mech and sky toss. Classic did avoid that kind of style and did go for a much more mobile, a more gateway heavy composition, gateway into robo. We'll see if that'll be the case here as well if we do try to adjust. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have our, oh true, loser's pick, yeah. It is loser's pick from here on forward, so it is going to be the double SC2 team. We have our SC2 Terran, we have our SC2 Protoss. It is going to be Gabe and Classic. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have our double Brood War team. We have the teal Zerg, we have the blue Terran. It is ByuN and Solar. We go. It's going to be Brood War versus SC2. Coming into this, Gabe and Classic are going to be a lot more comfortable. They're going to be a little more mobile when it comes to their approach as well. We'll see how ByuN and Solar will approach this with their now double Brood War. I would imagine that moving forward, this is going to be a bit of a trend where the losing team is just going to pick double SC2. Well, we will, of course, take note and we'll be pleasantly surprised whenever that isn't the case. For sure. For sure. I mean, I say that, if I recall correctly, I believe last week or last SEL doubles, we did see, who was it that kept going for Brood War SC2, like a mixture of the two. It wasn't ByuN and Solar, but it was another team. I'm trying to recall, hold on, it was... No, it actually might have been ByuN and Solar. Yeah, I think it was ByuN and Solar. who are embracing that. But I can't quite fully recall. For now, 3x. 3x time here by ByuN. Going for a 3x sim. As we have known to see. Likewise, there's going to be hatch into a third hatch gas pool into a third hatchery here for Solar. So far, standard openers. Standard openers all around. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. We're opening up. The Academy's on the way for Sim. It is going to be a Stargate opener this time from Classic. Ooh, we'll see if we can hold on here. I would say it is risky to open up Stargate when we are up against a 3x Stim timing. Typically, these Stim pushes can excel against Oracle-based openers. But of course, Classic is not by himself. He does have HeRoMaRinE to fall back on, to rely upon. So by being active, one drone goes down. We have our 2 Reapers on the right hand side. We have the Adept on the left. And Gabe moves in. So does the Adept. Marines are in position. Does scout. Does scout. Does confirm. Reapers, they bust in. They get a second drone. Remember, there's no defensive queens. Yeah, no defensive queens here. Getting 1, 2, 3, 4 drones. Does get surrounded though. Oh, yeah, Gabe is surrounded. He gets shut down, but still 4 drone kills is very nice. And Classic letting Gabe know that we need tanks to defend against the Stim timing. Once again, Classic giving Gabe some direction. We have a bunker here at the natural. Tanks are on the way. And again, this is going to be a bit of a more of a clutch defense just because of the initial oracles that are building up. Again, Classic is investing his own early tech into harassment, not into like a solid army. Oracle moves out. Second oracle's on the way. Hydras are amassing here for Solar. Despite that, getting 1, getting 2. And 2 drone kills. Rotates into the main base, catching out 1 more drone. Getting 3, just 3. And Solar is being bullied. He's I mean, he is more exposed, right? The reality is that his base is closer to Gabe and Classic. It's more exposed to the elements. So far, it's 8 drone kills, and here we go. We commit. We do commit here. Stim is done. We have U-238 on the way. We have +1 attack on the way as well for ByuN. Medics are out. Hydras are rallying. And it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing here for Gabe and Solar. Solar's not he's not droning. He's not droning. He's not saturating. He's losing more workers. That does not matter. There are 2 tanks so far. Batteries being thrown down. Boys are being pulled. Yeah, the boys are being pulled. We just have to survive. Massive tank shots. Yeah, massive tank shots here. And with that, GG. GG gets called. They defend well. And Gabe and Classic tie up the series 1-1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. We tie the series up here again. ByuN and Solar were forced into the all-in. Solar especially, he had no economy behind it. It was all or nothing. At the same time, Solar, he was losing everything back at home to the Oracles. And the siege line and the bunkers and batteries defended. GG. GG, well played. Gabe and Classic having a very comfortable game. And now it is up to both ByuN and Solar to pick their races. Do we go into double StarCraft 2, into double Brood War, or a mixture of the two? Let's go. Curious. I'm curious. As game 3 is going to be on Rust Bucket. Then we have a back and forth. We have a back and forth. We have a series. Let's go. As we are loading into Rust Bucket. And spawning in the bottom top left hand corner here of Rust Buckets, we have the orange team, we have the German Terran, we have the South Korean Protoss. It is going to be HeRoMaRinE and Classic. As the double Brood War team. Meanwhile, spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the double SE2 team, Blue Terran, Teal Zerg. It is going to be ByuN and Solar. Let us go. Gabe asking Classic about going into Skytoss and Mech as they are stuck with double Brood War. And it looks like the goal here is to try to slow the game down. And I will say this is a decent map for it. Remember, we have a pocket base. We have a pocket expansion here for Classic. Likewise, we have 2 high ground bases here as well for our natural for Gabe and for a third base for Classic as well. I would say the third expansion for Gabe is going to be more open, more isolated, more exposed. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Gabe to expand, assuming that Classic does not take the slow gun expansion. Yeah, he's going for it. He's going for the scout. So we'll see how our players build up their 3 base economies. Meanwhile, of course, ByuN and Solar are going to be a little more active. They're going to have ideally map control. We'll see how our players do kind of approach game number 3. Let's go. For now, Hatchgas Pool. Hatchgas Pool, standard opener out of Solar. Likewise, it is going to be double gas out of ByuN. Okay, double gas opener, faster factory, delayed CC out of our Terran player. So ByuN is going for a much more tech-heavy start. With this, we can go into Reactor Reaper Hellion. We can go into earlier Cyclone play. We can go into earlier Banshee play, earlier tank push. ByuN has some tech options. Yo, S, they practice X. Oh, no. Yes, he's the 2v2 aficionado. True, true. That's all he plays whenever we raid him. 2v2s. SMH, my head. But bearing in mind, if you're tuning in for the first time, this is not just 2v2, it is StarCraft Evolution. It's StarCraft Evo. So Classic is playing Brood War, and Gabe is also playing Brood War. The Brood War races, I should say. Brood War races. Reaver does back in. Pokes in, disrupts some of the economy. A Stargate opener out of Classic. Does open up Stargate. So far it's on Gabe to minimize losses. So far he does pull back his worker as well. And he will not lose an SCV. Doesn't lose a worker. Marines, they will zone away. And behind this, double factory. So mech out of Gabe. Attempted Skytoss here from Classic. We know what the plan is, but can we get there? Can we survive? Can we hold? Can we stabilize? Can we build up into a secure economy? Behind this Solar, he's massing up a lot of Zerglings. Yeah, Lings are amassing. ByuN he's building up into his own 1-1-1. Solar's not joining. Solar, he's not joining up. We have 16 Lings on the way. We're going for a Ling flood. Yeah, Solar, he commits. He's flooding across the map. And we'll see if both Gabe and Classic can hold on. There's the add-on swap. Vultures are amassing and no upgrades yet. We're trying to wall off. Lings are flooding in. Ooh, they get in. Yeah, Lings, they do flood in. They come in for the surround, catching at the Marines. Yeah, Marines, they call Vulture as well. Decent Sim City here as we try to poke away, but pull away, but Elastic gets surrounded. Yeah, Dragoons are surrounded as well, and this might just be too much. Vultures go down, Dragoons go down. There's nothing left. We just keep flooding. We keep flooding in. So far, full wall up here on the high ground. Does have the full wall. Lings enter the surround, they catch out one of the Vultures, not bad. And SCVs are falling. Yeah, critical damage here. So many SCVs are going down. Oof. Getting up to 7. Lings they fixate here on Gabe. And their focus do fixate again. Their wall was just a couple of seconds too late. A couple of seconds too late in the end. Catching more reinforcing Marines. We're still flooding across the map. Solar, he's still not made a drone in minutes. Like, he's still not droning. Just pure Ling flooding. Now, what I will say is that Classic, he still has a secure 2-base setup because of the pocket base, but it's a Gabe who's struggling. Oof, as he's just being focused down. Yeah, Gabe is out of this. He will lose everything. All the SCVs in the main, the SCVs in the natural. Gabe was more exposed. And yeah. He is dead. He is dead. As again, Gabe was being bullied here by both armies. That's the downside of going for a Stargate opener. Opening up Stargate means you have very limited units to work with, and the scouts will eventually clean this up, eventually. But what is Gabe going to have left? He's going to have like 10 SCVs. Oh god. That's 23 SCV kills. That's 20 workers. Again, barely an economy for Gabe. Now, Classic can always share resources. Classic can share. share resources, and Gabe can try to stabilize, but as Classic moves out, Lings, they keep moving in. They just keep moving back in. This time there's a full wall. True. Scouts, they turn around for a moment. They need a counterattack in some which way, but now there are Cyclones to defend. Marine, Stim is on the way. Lings knocking down those rocks. Scouts, they do focus on one of the Cyclones. Este es sinistro, papi. Fala galera, fala galera. Bienvenidos. But whether it was scouts, I mean, no, true. Actually, I was gonna say that even if this was an SE2 like kind of setup here, and we had opened up Stargate, it'd be a similar situation. That's actually not true. Oracles, right? Oracles, they do play a stronger role when it comes to early game defense, more so than scouts, and that does make like Stargate openers more viable for SE2 races. And, oh no, lazy foot in, lazy foot into the main. But scouts, our attack rate is a lot lower. It's more like burst damage, and against mass Lings, scouts, they do defend worse than oracles. They do struggle that much more. Once again, we're trying to turtle up, we're trying to stabilize. That's 8 probes going down. Oh, bleeding out of scouts. We're focus on the tanks. He fights head on, he will win. Cleans up the Marines, chasing down the tanks. Getting 1, 2, 3 tanks. At the same time, dropping to the main. Oh, once again, Gabe just wants to play some StarCraft. Leave Gabe alone, papi. Ay, ay, ay. Drop into the natural. Scouts are racing back home. Lings, they do hit the bases once again. Oof. Catching out 10 probes. Critical damage. As things, they just keep rallying in. Again, there's just a massive entrance here in towards the natural and towards the bases. And Classic and Gabe, they attempt to stabilize. Carriers are building up. And where exactly are we? So now there is one saving grace. That is the fact that Solar, because Solar was lacking drones for so long in this game, his tech is very late, right? Now we're taking gases, now we're droning up, and now we're taking up in towards Roaches and Hydras. So finally Solar, he's done Ling flooding and he's now starting to work towards an actual mid game, but it is delayed. It is delayed here, so that is a bit of a saving grace, but he's taking up heavily here. Jesus. Going for the infestation pits. Going for the hydrogen. At the same time, I will say that ByuN also could have been a little bit greedier here. He does have a 3rd CC, so he's soon to claim his own 3rd. Oof. Scout goes down. Another scout does fall. Now, can Classic stabilize? Like Gabe, he needs some time to recover, and I'm sure Classic is giving him resources. But he's trying to stabilize, building up a mech. They're turtling up here on soon to be 4 bases. What's important is that Classic has a healthy, he's more or less had an okay economy. Now he's building up a healthy economy with 4 bases. He's getting there. Scouts, they do slip in between the bases. Decent harass. 10 drone kills, true. Oh, we'll lose another scouts. Another scout goes down. Down to what, 4 scouts? Sorry, 5. And they're being surrounded. Yeah, they're being surrounded. Finally, all the scouts are being shut down. No, no! Yeah, losing all the scouts down to 1. No more harassment. And now ByuN and Solar are free to just focus on their economies. They can just focus on their macro. Now, we mentioned at the very beginning of the game here that it's going to be difficult for Gabe to claim his 3rd, and here comes that 3rd base, and as I mentioned before, it's going to be very difficult to defend this location. There's no high ground advantage, it is isolated from the other expansions. We can see here the main army for Classic is rallying on the top side, so it'll take longer to rotate to defend the southern base. So this should be the next target here for Solar and ByuN. Yeah. It's kind of dumb that they always pick S2 and make the enemy play SE1. I kind of agree in the sense that it's in the rules so they can do it, but I do think that it would make for a better tournament if you could only have a mixture of the two. If they didn't allow for double SE2 and double Brood War. I do agree with that. Like I'm not too fond of that rule for the tournament. But regardless. Like, you're still seeing Brutal versus SE2. That is true. That is true. In a sense. So now we are building up. Classic is asking for a couple of tanks. So he's asking for like a couple of tanks here on the top side. And you can see, Classic, he asked for 2, and Gabe, he gives him 3. He's so generous. Take 3 tanks back. So generous. Sorry, 4 tanks. Oh my god, double the amount of tanks. Look at him go. So again, we're setting up here on the top side. We have mass DTs on the way. Okay, that I was not quite expecting. DTs alongside Maelstrom. Working towards Dark Archons. So Dark Archons are going to be amassing to support the army. Maelstrom's going to be ideal against the biological Zerg force. If you're curious as to, ooh, nice abduction, gets 1. Gets 1 carrier. If you're curious, Maelstrom is like an AoE stun. Ooh, as we catch another carrier and another, the Vipers, they just bully. They bully the army here. They're catching out so many carriers. It took so long to build them. It took so long. They don't have the interceptor upgrade, the capacity upgrade. So heavy losses there for Classic. Heavy losses. As the army does rotate, tanks are caught on the low ground. That'll be 1, 2 tanks going down. It does commit in. Oh, we have a decent siege line. Yeah, decent siege line here, and the army does clump up. Oof. Nice tank volleys here by Gabe. Nice tank shots. Classic pulls back. The Dark Archons are joining the main army. We can see that both Solar and ByuN, they're focusing on Gabe. Yeah, they're lunging in. Oh, let's try to lunge in. Not quite able to. Rezone back. Speaking of, the capacity upgrade is now on the way. I believe that is this upgrade. No. Yes? I think it's something else. Is that the capacity upgrade? Is that that's Argus Talisman. Okay, okay. Wait, does Classic know that there's an upgrade for the carriers? Does he? I'm concerned, baby. I'm concerned. Does he know? It's pretty important for mass carrier, not gonna lie. It's pretty important. As vultures they get across the map. Radiate being researched here for Gabe. Now, something that's helping here is that ByuN, he's still stuck on bio. Like, he's still committing into like a very heavy bio army here. Whereas typically, once we get into this kind of game state, we switch into mech. Both ByuN and Solar have a much more mobile composition. And I would say that Gabe and Classic are stabilizing. Classic especially, right? Classic is max. He's maxed out with Archon, with Dark Archon carrier. I would say he's maxed. At the same time, these carriers are like half as strong as they should be. They're true. Nuke on the main army. It does go for the nuke. Do they notice? Oh no! Yeah, nuke will land. Carriers a move in. Yeah, you can see Classic is pinging the nuke. Oh, the Ghost is killed. Yeah, the Ghost is killed. Carriers a move in. Mass Marauder does nothing. They can't shoot up. The Marauders, they cannot shoot up. It's just the Hydras. The Hydras and the Ghosts. EMPs do land. Mass EMP. Carriers, they pull back. Ooh, High Templar, they rally into the army. And they just rally in, and Classic, he has to back up. He'll lose the expansion. The base is going to go down. Oof. Yeah, the base does fall. Losing a mineral line as well. We'll lose that mineral line. That's a nice rotation here by Classic. He pulls back, punishes the Hydras. Attempts to nuke. Do we have scan? Do we have a scan? Ooh, does focus on the Ghost. Ghost is targeted down. Classic is holding. He's trying to at least. Nice deductions. Vipers, they come in. And they come in. Catching at 1, 2, 3 carriers. Very nice. Catching out 3 carriers. Trying to force the way through. The cannons are helping. They're buying time. Can we hold? Here comes the Irradiate. Oh my god. Yeah, Master Radiate of the Hydras. And oh, he still stacks. Splitting towards the end. And again, we're still trying to barely hold on. We have the token Swarm Host. Once again, had Templar thrown away. Storm is finishing up in 10 seconds. We need the storms. Never saw the feedbacks. Sorry, the maelstroms, by the way. Never got their tanks. They rotate over. And they're holding. Classic and Gabe, they're holding on. They're surviving. Solo forced to back up, forced to rotate. I have a yes. If you're just now tuning in, Classic did forget the interceptor upgrade, the capacity upgrade. So these are half strength carriers. That's Smurge, baby, Smurge. That's a radiant zone. Oh my god. Yes, Solar late to split. Still stacking. Yeah, messy play here from Solar as he's still stacking up. Oh my god. He's even hurting ByuN. Calm down. I just do melt. They do take down the expansion though. Gabe will lose the base. The base does full. Storm is finally done. Ooh. Yeah, brutal storms. Storms of the main army. Do we focus on the Ghost in time? Oh, the nuke! No! Does he get it? He does! Just barely. Snipes the Ghost. Classic does pull away. Once again, babysitting his carriers. Tanks, they come in to support. And they do take the better fight. Take the better fight here. Throughout all this, Gabe going to be counterattacking. Gets into the mineral line. SCV is going to be going down. We're still trying to force our way through. Do we finally land the nuke? The radiates. Once again, another radiate. This time the nuke will land. Gabe pulls away. And we only connect here with depots. Grazing the depots. Once again, ByuN is stacking. He does not notice. Just free damage. Jeez. Free damage on the army. Oh, he got it! Let's go! There it is! Oh my god! We're making all the interceptors. Classic. He took off the weights. Oh no. Sin camisa, papi. Sin camisa. The weights are off. The pants are down. It's time for full power carriers. Let's go. It's like, you know what? Time to get serious. Oh, no. I say that. He's always at the storm zone. Oh, my God. Crazy storms. He's rushing into it. He runs into the storms as the Hydra army just melts. Nice power bomb. Okay, nice power bomb here on the carriers. No more storms. Classic is on his own. He's on his own. Where's the Gabe? Gabe, he's coming. He's coming back. Classic needs help. Yeah, Gabe races over, catching the tail end of ByuN's army, and with that they can turn back around. They can turn back around. GG gets called, and with that, Classic and Gabe, they take game number 3. What a crazy comeback. GG, well played. Classic and Gabe, they do take a lead in the series. Gabe was dead, by the way. Straight up, Gabe, he was dead in the water. He was down to 20 SCVs. He even said it himself. He's like, what I love about that exchange, by the way, is that Gabe, he was like, yo, I'm dead. And Classic said nothing. He just ignored him and just kept playing it out. And Gabe was like, okay, I guess we're doing this. Like, okay, sure, whatever you say. And Classic, he had so much potential, and he achieved so much damage with the scouts. If you recall, the scouts, they were killing drones, killing SCVs, they were distracting, they were defending. And Classic, he was able to keep them alive. He was able to keep them alive, distract long enough for Gabe to eventually stabilize on 2 bases, for Classic to secure his 4-base economy, of course, build up into SkyToss. Even then, it was not easy. It was still a rocky road into the mid game for sure, but they got there. And once they stabilized, again, we were being critical of ByuN, for example. ByuN never got into his own mech. He often does whenever he gets into the late game, but no, he stuck with a bio army. Likewise, we saw that Solar also stuck with a biological or cheaper army as well, with Ling Hydra, right? With Ling Hydra Viper. So very cheap armies and very mobile. That's their advantage. The advantage here of what Solar and ByuN were doing is that they have very mobile compositions, so they can like rotate and go back and forth and try to outmaneuver their opponents, and they were able to do a little bit of that, but for the most part, Classic and Gabe were able to keep up with those rotations, shut down the pushes, and eventually overwhelm. GG well played. Whew, and with that, we're now getting into our next game here. Remember, best of 5. It is a best of 5, of course, and we're getting into game number 4, going to be loading into Reclamation. Let's go. Let us go. Broodwar carry is so strong. I mean, kind of. Like, I think it's important to bear in mind that Solar had a subpar army against SkyToss. He never went Spire, never went Corruptor. Like, once again, as we're trying to emphasize, same with ByuN, right? ByuN stuck with a very Marine heavy composition as well, even into the late game. Both ByuN and Solar refused to tech up, right? They refused to tech into Spire, into Corruptor tech, into Corruptor Infestor Viper. Likewise, ByuN, he did get into Ghost, that is true, but he didn't go into like Ghost Viking Tank Liberator. Like, they both stuck with mid-tier compositions, and I don't blame them because they were ahead, right? They were ahead. They were killing Gabe and Classic, but they did tunnel vision, right? That's more or less what happened there. They were like tunnel visioned on this more mid-tier army, whereas before them, Classic and Gabe were snowballing out of control. Like, they were stabilizing and building up a superior composition, and they snowballed out of control from there. GG. And GG will play. And here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Reclamation, we have the Brood War Terran player. We have the Brood War Terran. We have the Brood War Protoss. Once again, double Brood War. It is going to be Gabe and Classic. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the double SC2 team. We have the SC2 Zerg. We have the SC2 Terran. It is ByuN and Solar. Pity the Dark Archons didn't really pan out. Yeah, there's definitely like a lot of fun things you can do with Maelstrom and with Storm, right? Like with the combination of the two, or even just Maelstrom, right? Like, just because it was a very bio-heavy composition. But if you notice, like the Dark Archons, they were also a little bit clunky. So we saw that Classic had a really hard time having them keep up with the army and making use of them. But hopefully we get to see them further in the tournaments. Hopefully. Always appreciate seeing Dark Archons. And Classic, he even researched mind control, if you recall. Did research mind control, but again, never got to really make use of any of that. Here we go. From here, we're going to be opening up. We're going to be selling into our own bases here. Reclamation has more isolated main bases, but our naturals are safer and secure. We're on the high ground here. We are setting up, and eyes are going to be on our opposing SC2 team. Once again, Stargate opener out of Classic, opening up Stargate into SkyToss, and once again, we should be seeing mech out of Gabe. Now, last game, we did see the Mass Link Flood. Yeah, we're going for the Bane Bust. This time it will be a Bane bust. Last game was a Link Flood, and to be fair, Sol and ByuN, again, they did kill Gabe. Like, Gabe was dead, but Classic, he resurrected him, papi. Oh my god. Brought him back. He brought him back from the brink. Oh no. Put him on the door. Crazy. But this time we're doubling down even harder. So it's going to be a Bane bust. Solar is all in. Likewise, ByuN is also rallying across the map with all that he has, going into Reaper Hellion. So Reaper Hellion out of ByuN, and Link Bane out of Solar. Bane that's almost done. Shoal says Banes. Here they come. Yeah, here come the Banelings. So far we have a battery on the high ground, bunker as well. We do have a defensive setup. As I mentioned previously, scouts, they do struggle defensively. And again, there's a reason why Classic and Gabe almost just straight up died in the last game. Scouts did struggle. They can focus on the Banelings, they can target fire, but there's going to be a swarm coming. Here comes the army. Dragoons, they focus on one of the Banelings. Oh, they do focus him down. The bunker still does fall. Yeah, the bunker falls. The boys are being pulled. Banelings have been dealt with, but now there's more Banelings coming in. No, no. Yeah, ladies, they come in for the surround. They collapse here on Gabe. They catch out the Vulture. They catch out the tank. SCVs are going down. And this is a repeat of game one. Sorry, of the last game. Repeat of the last game. Here as Gabe will lose everything. 12 SCV kills. We flood in towards the natural. Classic does have a full wall. But can he hold? This time we're going for Classic. This time we're ignoring Gabe. We're trying to go for Classic. Classic has a secondary wall behind this. He's walled up. And now we just focus on Gabe. Lings, they flood in. They're flooding into the bases. Gabe, can he try to minimize losses once again? Oh my god, he'll lose the Vulture. 1, 2 Vultures go down. Better worker drilling here by Gabe. True. As Gabe cleans up all the Zerglings, and Gabe, he's holding. This is a cleaner... It's still messy, but it is cleaner defense than last game. Cleaner defense. And, ooh, Solar's now droning. Solar, they've admitted the all-in has failed. The all-in has failed, and now they're transitioning. Behind this, we have Cloak Banshee for ByuN, and Solar is starting to drone up. Gabe and Classic, they're holding. They're holding on. The Classic Marine. I mean, hey, they're playing Brood War, so it fits. As ByuN's still fighting for map control. Working towards Stim. ByuN playing Fire. Claiming his third CCL location and just building up into his economy. Once again, just like last time, we're building up the scouts. Now they can move out, they can harass. Classic is being active. Just like feedback that kills stuff. Fair enough, fair enough. Oh, as Banshees, they do get across the map. 6 robes. 6 robe kills, not bad. Do we have detection? No. Yeah, no detection here. We're waiting for a scan. No comsat stations? No. I mean, that's just, yeah. There's nothing. Oh my god. No scans, no detection here. 12 probe kills. Critical damage being dealt by a singular Banshee. Scouts, they got a lot of work to do here. 13 probes, 14 probe kills. 15, 16. Yeah, 16 probes. This is critical damage. Unlike last time, Classic is now crippled economically. Scouts are being active. They do hit Solar. They get into the main, getting 1, 2, 3 drone kills, getting some damage. Gabe also being active. Oh, but he runs into ByuN. Does least now mining. Ooh, nice connections. Oh no! Barely not. Yeah, barely not here. Does scan, cleans up the minefield. ByuN does hold. The Major harass continues. We now have a constatation. Yeah, we now have a scan, but still that's going to be another 3 SCV kills, 4 SCVs. The Banshees have been insane this game. As we're going into Mutaplay against Mass Scouts? Oh, that's a bold move. I mean, Scouts are not as ideal as Corsairs, that is true, but I mean, they can still hold their own in a fight in the air. Solar massive up his mutas, moving out across the map. Ignores the scouts, they're racing back home. And here come the mutas. There are cannons, there are Corsairs now on the way. And Corsairs, they shut down mutas so hard. Oh, note if they get within range. Have to be careful. And Corsairs, they pull back to the batteries. Oof. Bring away Corsairs, they do splash damage. Scouts, they come back home to defend. One Corsair goes down. And these mutas, they're not going to find much damage here. They do get into the main of Gabe at least. Oof. Yeah, they're going to be chased down at the same time. ByuN pushing forward, takes down the third. Muta's going to be turned back. And here comes the Skytoss. Here comes the Fleet Beacon. It's still very tense. It's still very, very tense. Again, I'm not too fond of the idea of going to mutas, and we're still making mass muta. We're going mass muta against someone who already had Stargate set up here. Like aye. Okay. The concern is that the Corsairs are amassing, and the Corsairs, they punish mutas clumping so much. Nice move by Gabe. Gabe is in this game. Unlike last time, like he's in this. Catching out 5 SCVs, he will be surrounded. Vultures are shut down. Scouts move into the main base of Solar. No Spore. And they catch out the Queen. They came with the production here. Denying mining. Oh. Corsairs have to be careful. Not to overextend. Remember, they do have shorter range. Sniping more queens. Mutas at the spread. Yeah, we force a micro, we force the spread here. And we do take down 2 Corsairs. Not bad. Nice spread here. Nice spread out of Solar. No, he clumps up. Does come towards the end. At the same time, ByuN is pushing. ByuN is keeping into the bases. Sims into the mineral line. Our tank count is very low. We have too many Goliaths. A Goliath heavy army. But Gabe is holding. Gabe is holding. Every muta goes down. Mutas do fall. Lings, they catch out one of the tanks. No, never mind. they didn't catch anything. Yeah, Lings are cleaned up. The Bio Army does take down the natural, but it's heavily overstimmed. And will be cleaned up. Will fall. And Solar heal all his mutas. But Solar still has an economy. That's what matters here. 50 drones. As crafters again, they're being bullied back. ByuN is rallying across. ByuN still has a standing army, and it all comes down to the tank positioning. Gabe, can he keep up with ByuN? Gabe has 2 tanks. ByuN sims forward. It's still a very messy defense. Yeah, the tank is moving in. Oh no, it's exposed! No, the tank! We have to hold the line! Yeah, tank goes down. Massive big up. GG gets called. And with that, ByuN, he breaks through. He overwhelms. And he takes down both Gabe and Classic. GG gets called. And Solar and ByuN, they tab the series. We're going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, for the most part, Classic, he was able to get across the map. He was able to deal with Solar's army. That is true. But Gabe, he did lose an expansion. He bled out a bunch of tanks. Like, his own army was still lacking there. He was still trying to build up. Unfortunately, it did look like Gabe did invest too hard into Goliaths. The Goliaths were not helping. It was a big, strong reaction to the muta play. And I would say an overreaction to the mutas. So the Goliaths, they kind of ate into his Vulture count, which ate into his own Spider-Mine count as well. So weaker defensive setup. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we're getting into the ace match, going all the way to game 5. Let's go. We're going to the ace match here, and with that, because Classic and Gabe just lost the game, they can force Brood War out of ByuN and Solar. Oh boy, we'll see if they do. We'll see if they do. What are we forcing? As the game 5 is going to be on Crimson Lab. Let's go. Let us go. What are we picking? As Here we go. We're going to be loading into that second game. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of a Crimson Research Lab, we have the double Protoss. Yep. We have the orange Terran. We have the yellow Protoss. It is going to be Classic and HeRoMaRinE. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the Brood War team. We have the Brood War Terran. We have the Brood War Zerg. It is ByuN and Solar. Let's go. Let us go. Yeah, it did go all the way here, all the way to the ace match, all the way to game 5. And welcome to Crimson Research Lab. For the first time this broadcast, we have a shared main base, we have a shared natural expansion, we have a pocket third base available for one of the players, and we have a longer rush distance by ground. We have a longer rush distance by ground. We do have some more bases here off towards the edges, a high base count, larger map in general, and often we do see longer and later games. But I'm curious what Gabe and Classic's plan is going to be now that they get to calm down and embrace their SE2 side. Let's go. From the side of ByuN, we've been seeing non-stop 3-rack stim timings out of our Terran player into aggressive builds and aggressive pushes, but we've seen mixed results here. Mixed results with those kind of aggressive builds. So we'll see how Solar and ByuN adjust and how they also approach the mid game, if at all. If at all. Is Brood War generally considered weaker? I mean, there's a couple of different factors. Brood War is less mobile when it comes to the races, but also I would say maybe a more important factor is that a lot of the players are just less experienced with the Brood War race, just because obviously they compete in SE2, so they're just a little more comfortable with their SE2 counterparts. There are some exceptions to that, right? There are some players that are, I mean, yeah, even in the last series, like ByuN, he wasn't like fighting to play Brood War Terran, even though he's decent, he's solid with it. He was still more than happy to play SE2 Terran instead. So it just comes down to what players are kind of used to and what they're comfortable with. When it comes to the races themselves, they are very different. They're very different. As I mentioned, they're less mobile, they're less versatile. But we have seen some strength, of course, some strengths. For example, we saw Classic and Gabe earlier embrace Mech and Skytoss, and they worked quite well together. But part of that was also because Solar and ByuN were kind of tunnel visioned when it comes to a more like mid-tier army. So there were other factors coming into play. There we go. Here we go. But now we're building up. But in general, I would say that like the Brood War races are slightly weaker in certain aspects. But you can still make use of them. Still make use of them. Like, I feel like there are stronger, you can definitely argue that there are stronger units when it comes to Brood War. So I'm referring to like the Brood War Storm, right? The Brood War Storm, or Dark Archons, or Defilers and Queens, like a lot of the spellcasters, Lockdown for Ghosts, or even the Brood War BC, for example. But it's like getting there, like getting up to that point, like can be difficult at times. As we're not going for 3x sim, we're going into mech. Okay, we're building up our mech army. So ByuN embracing mech. Behind this we do have Gabe building up his own 2-1-1 setup. Oh, interesting. Okay. Going for a delayed third TC into a 2-1-1 setup. From here we can go for a third racks into hyper aggression, or just into our starport into buy a heavy play. Yep, third racks. Jesus. Okay, hyper aggression out of Gabe. We're going for an earlier timing. Yeah, we're setting up for an earlier timing. Spire and meter play out of Solar. Oracle perks in, catching out a couple of SCVs. ByuN setting up the center of the map, throwing down the minefield. So I should kind of get into what Gabe's plan is here. Because the starport is so delayed, we're going for earlier stim. Like, it's an earlier tank and bio setup here for a stronger earlier sim timing. We're going into delayed starport, delayed medevacs, and a delayed medevacs for a later push. Once we do move out though, it's going to be a terrifying army. It's going to be a very, very strong timing here from Gabe. There it is, starport is now on the way, and by the time the medevacs pop out, we move out, like we push. So we're pushing with the medevacs. At the same time, we have Classic. How many gateways? We have 1 in the main base. We have 2 at the natural. It's going to be 3 gate blink. So this is a very versatile composition here from Classic. It's not overly aggressive, but he can support Gabe. He can support him as he expands. So Classic is being a little more economic, but can support with blink stalkers. And we're waiting for the push. At the same time, again, Solo's going to mass Muta, which is a very bold move. Very risky. Mutas are amassing. So far, Siege mode is on the way for ByuN, setting up his tank line. So Oracles are harassing. So far, no major connections. Mutas are revealed. Now they know. Yeah, Mutas are revealed. A Stargate gets thrown down. +1 a flyer attack and a Phoenix production. So Classic switching the Phoenixes. Mutas are on the way. Remember, we have a release in for Gabe, so Gabe, he has a standing army against this. Mutas, they make the way in. Phoenixes are ready. As Cyclones respond, they catch out one of the Mutas. Oof. Catching out one so far. Vultures, they push on the right hand side. And at least this aggression is keeping Gabe at home, right? Like, we mentioned that Gabe, he wanted to push with his medevacs, but because of the Mutas and because of the Vultures, they're stuck at home. Third CC is on the way. Catching the Cyclone. Delaying the third. And the second Cyclone goes down. Yeah, these are nice little pickoffs. Nothing major, but you're going to keep them pinned. And from here, we're getting into Overlord capacity. No, never mind. Cancels. Never mind. We have Annual Pulse Crystals on the way into Phoenix range. Charge lots as well. As Solar, he does get punished. Yeah, bleeding out 1, 2, 3, 4. Gonna be losing everything here. Yeah, Mew's getting caught out. They're getting caught out. Massive losses here for Solar. ByuN, he's trying to be active, but he's out of position. He's too far away to counterattack, to punish, to support. And you can see Classic hunting him down. There's a scan. And Classic does attempt to intercept. Oh, a little bit late. Yeah, late to react, late to respond. Still catching up more Mutalisks. And that was how many? That was 14 Mutas going down. Heavy losses for Solar. At the same time, though, ByuN just counterattacks. He counterattacks. He moves out across the map. Gabe is ready. Gabe is in position. Phoenix, as they race back home, they can lift the tanks. He can lift. Go for the Goliath. And does lift the tanks as well. Yeah, lifts up the tanks. Marines, they stim on in, and the tanks getting caught out. Mutas, they try to support, but the Bio Army, he stims, and he wins. Lifts up every single tank. ByuN, he gets torn apart. 0 tanks left. We have 2 more tanks on the high ground. That's all the Phoenixes are for. We just lift. We just lift everything, Pappy. We lift it all. GG gets called, and Classic and Gabe, that will claim this series 3-2, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. And GG, well played. They will advance on. They will take down ByuN and Solar. Again, ByuN and Solar, interesting style here. Solar going to mass Muta. It's always risky. It's always risky going to Mutas, just because if you get scouted, then it is easier to shut it down. We saw Mutas that were seen by the Oracles, and as a result, we saw that Classic was able to switch into Phoenix production immediately, set up his Phoenixes. On top of that, because of Gabe's build of choice, he already had mass Bio, already had the mass Marine, he already had a secure position back at home as well. So the Mutas were lackluster, to be honest. Like, Solar, like, going into the mass Muta was not worth it. It did fall on its face, and as a result, he could not support ByuN when it came to the main push, when it came to the mid game. Could not support him. GG, well played. With that, Classic and Gabe, they do advance on. They advance on into the grand finals, and they're going to be facing off against the winner of our next semis. It is going to be a best of 5 between Shameless, GG Machine, Rake, and Iosop. Let's go. Let us go.